My name is Benson Boone. I'm 18 years old, and I'm from Monroe, Washington.
What does a stunning audition, a shocking exit, and a global smash hit have in common?
I mean, I'm like literally, I see American Idol and I see you.
Oh my God.
They all are events linked to Benson Boone, a name you've most likely heard, but a story you probably don't know. Today, we're going beyond the headlines to uncover why he really walked away from American Idol.
The reason I quit American Idol is because I wanted to do.
And how that bold decision led him to become one of pop music's fastest rising stars. Benson Boone's humble beginning. Every year, thousands of hopefuls chase the dream of making it onto American Idol. Some pack up their cars and drive for miles. Others spend hours in lines that stretch around city blocks. A few audition from their bedrooms, staring into webcams, and hoping their voice cuts through the screen. All of them are chasing the same thing: the chance to stand before the judges, sing their hearts out, and maybe walk away with a shot at stardom. Even getting past that first audition is no small win. For many, it's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. But one person was willing to throw it all away. After the hassle of auditioning and impressing the judges, getting the golden ticket, and finally making it through, everything seemed to be falling into place, until he chose to walk away. Not because he was sent home or because of some controversy. Benson Boone, who was 18 at the time he auditioned, had no record deal or musical career. All he had was talent and a growing sense that the route he was about to take would not be a good fit for him. He had barely started singing publicly, yet he already knew he wanted more than a moment on reality TV. What makes it even more surprising is that his audition was the kind of performance that sticks with people, and from there on he became a fan favorite. He was so good, even the judges were blown away. So when word got out that Benson had suddenly left the competition, everyone was confused, and some were disappointed. Many people couldn't stop asking the same thing. Why would anyone turn down an opportunity like that? That question brings us to the heart of this story. Today, we're going to take a closer look at that moment, the road that led to it, and how it turned out to be one of the most defining decisions of Benson Boone's career. The audition that had the world talking. Before Benson Boone was on every playlist and at the top of every top music chart, he was just a kid from a small town in Washington. Monroe, Washington is a quiet suburban town, not a place you would typically expect to find a future global superstar. Before the fame, Benson's life was quite simple and predictable. His life was centered around his friends, family, and, most of all, sports. He was a talented athlete, a skilled soccer and football player, and his time was filled with practices and games. Music wasn't even on his radar. He never dreamed of selling out concerts or record deals because that wasn't his kind of thing. It was a complete afterthought, a hobby he hadn't even discovered yet. The story of how he found his talent is almost as unexpected as his rise to fame. It all started when he and his friends were just hanging out, listening to music, and he started singing along to a song. His friends, who had never heard him sing seriously before, were completely stunned. They were so impressed that they constantly convinced him that there was something there, and he had to use his voice one way or the other. Eventually, he gave in and joined a small band, playing a few local gigs at community events and coffee shops. Even though the venues were tiny, the audiences were small and not what he hoped for. And it was a training ground for him to have hands-on experience in performing, as well as honing his skills. He was only just starting to share this almost secret talent with the world, setting the stage for the artist he would become. Later on, he decided he wanted to sing on the biggest stage with the largest audience in the United States. In 2021, he walked into the audition room for season 19 of American Idol. In the room sat three of the biggest names in the American music industry: Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan. As you'd expect, the atmosphere was thick with tension and the weight of a global audience. But Benson, a teenager from a town with a population of around 30,000 people, seemed to carry himself with confidence. He introduced himself to the judges, talked about his simple life, and said he just knew he could sing. The judges seemed interested, but a bit skeptical, since he just told them he found out recently that he could sing. They probably expected someone with more experience in singing to have the confidence he had, as they had seen countless hopefuls who fit the description they expected. Then, he took his position, picked up a guitar, and with a slight breath, he began to sing Aiden Martin's Punchline. From the very first note, the entire room was captivated. His voice was beautiful, and they were in shock. This was a guy who said he started singing a few months prior. They couldn't believe their eyes and ears. His performance wasn't just good, it was exceptional. It was the kind of voice that grabbed your full attention. And better yet, he picked the kind of song that fit his voice perfectly. The judges were visibly impressed, their initial professional demeanor melting away into looks of genuine awe. After Benson was done singing, Lionel Richie was the first to speak. From his look, you could easily tell he was amazed at not only how good Benson was, but also the range and clarity of his voice. Luke Bryan, another judge and country music superstar who knows a thing or two about raw talent, nodded in agreement, pointing out the unique texture and control Benson had over his vocals. But it was Katy Perry, ever the visionary, who saw something more than just a great singer. After listening to his entire performance, she leaned forward to take a closer look at Benson with shock, as did the rest. She went on to say something that would become a defining moment of his career. "I see you winning American Idol, if you want to." In that moment, her words hit Benson right where it counted. It was exactly what he needed to hear. For a kid from a small town, praise like that meant everything. He had already won over the judges and the crowd, and by the time the golden ticket came, it felt like the cherry on top. But Benson was more than just a good-looking guy with a great voice. He had that kind of natural charm you couldn't fake, even under pressure. After his performance, the judges started chatting with him, and Luke Bryan asked if he had any other talents. Without hesitation, Benson stepped back from the mic and, without any warning, pulled off a clean backflip right in the middle of the audition room. He nailed the landing, and the room burst into laughter and applause, as they weren't expecting it. This guy just came with a lot of surprises. No one saw it coming, and that's what made it so memorable. The backflip wasn't just a cool stunt. It also showed Benson's fun, easygoing personality and hinted at the confidence behind the voice. That moment became a standout part of his audition, one that fans wouldn't forget. When the clip hit the internet, coupled with Katy Perry's bold prediction and that flawless flip, it went viral in no time. The video blew up on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. Millions watched and shared it, drawn in by Benson's mix of vocal talent and down-to-earth personality. From there on, he captured the hearts of fans. In the comments, fans poured in by the thousands, saying the same thing over and over. They had just found their winner. He wasn't just a contestant anymore from there on. Without doing too much, he won the hearts of the public, and from there on, he became the clear frontrunner, the one to beat, and the contestant who was destined to win it all. The world was watching as this kid with a golden voice and a surprising backflip took his first step towards superstardom. But what nobody, not even the judges, saw coming was the shocking move he was about to make. that would change everything. The shocking exit. After securing his golden ticket, Benson Boone went to Hollywood. This was the next major phase of the competition, where the initial group of hopefuls was whittled down over a grueling week of different rounds. The pressure was intense. Contestants were sharing tight hotel rooms, trying to stay focused while also sizing each other up. They had to work as a team one moment and compete the next, all while chasing the same dream. The days were long, the stakes were high, and the pace never let up. It was during this time that he successfully made it through the various challenges, earning his place in the coveted top 24. For a kid who had barely even considered a music career a few years earlier, this was a massive accomplishment. He was exactly where Katy Perry had predicted he'd be, and he was still a clear favorite among fans and producers. However, for a lot of people watching at home, there was something missing. Viewers didn't see much of his journey through Hollywood Week. His performances got little to no screen time, leaving a noticeable gap in his story. While other contestants were getting their struggles and triumphs televised, his journey was mostly missing. For fans paying attention, it felt off, like something behind the scenes wasn't being said. That lack of screen time didn't just feel odd. It was the first sign that something bigger was going on. And soon, the quiet questions would turn into a full-blown controversy. Then the news hit, and it wasn't a slow rumor. This one was sudden, and it caught everyone off guard. Benson Boone had voluntarily decided to walk away from the competition. He had made it all the way to the top 24, just one step from the live shows, where so many careers are born. But instead of stepping into the spotlight, he chose to leave. For fans, it was shocking, as no one could have predicted it. The decision was completely unprecedented, especially for someone who was so clearly a frontrunner to win the entire season. The opportunity he gave up was a huge shot at a national platform, the possibility of a record deal, and the kind of instant fame most new artists could only dream of. So when Benson walked away, it had to be something big. Fans who had followed him from his viral audition were left shocked and confused, as they believed he was headed for the win. His sudden disappearance not only changed the show, but also left a void, both in the competition and in the hearts of the people rooting for him. Right away, the internet lit up with questions. Fans were confused, and media outlets jumped in, trying to figure out why someone would walk away from such a big opportunity. Was the pressure of the show too much for him? Was there a disagreement with the producers or the judges over his music or image? His decision didn't make sense to anyone, and the reaction was pure chaos. Everyone had a theory, but no one had answers. Some fans thought it might be a medical issue, maybe something serious that he hadn't shared. Others guessed it was a family emergency, or that he just got overwhelmed and backed out. With no real answers from the network or from Benson himself, the rumors only grew. His exit quickly became one of the biggest mysteries of the season. His name kept trending online, not because of a breakout performance, but because of a quiet, unexplained decision no one could quite figure out. With no clear answers, Benson's sudden exit became a story of its own, one that, for a while, felt even more gripping than the show itself. People couldn't stop talking about it. The silence only made it more mysterious. But when the truth finally came out, it revealed he was only a young artist who wanted more than fame. He confided that the decision wasn't an easy one to make alone. He turned to his parents for guidance, recalling their initial confusion. But once he laid out his reasoning, that he didn't want to be forever known as the American Idol kid for the rest of his life, and that he believed he could make it on his own, they gave him the boost he needed. "I think it was because they believed in me that I really thought I could do it," he said. That faith from his family gave him the courage to take the first step into the unknown. He felt that the show's structure and the constraints of a major network would compromise his artistic independence. All he wanted was to build his own career on his own terms. Benson later shed more light on his thinking in an interview on The Zach Sang Show. He made it clear that his decision wasn't out of disrespect for the show, but out of a deep desire to control his own story. As he put it, "I don't want people to be like, oh, Benson Boone. American Idol blew him up. That's where he comes from. No, I want to be Benson Boone because I write smash hits and they love my music. That's why I quit. I just didn't want that label on me." In that same interview, he confessed, "I'd never written a song. I didn't know if I could write a song. I didn't know how to write a song. I didn't know where to start." He wanted to do things his way, write his own songs, find his sound, and build a real connection with fans. Without record labels and the pressure and expectations that come with being on a big TV show, he wanted to do music that felt true to him. It was a huge risk, and he admitted it scared him. He was walking away from a clear shot at fame, choosing an uncertain road instead. But he believed that if he stayed true to his vision, his music would speak for itself. He bet on himself, a move that went against every piece of conventional wisdom in the music industry. Interestingly, Benson's biggest champion on the show, Katy Perry, later commented on his departure, reinforcing his controversial choice. In an interview, she looked back on the whole situation and said she was really happy for him. She went on to say that leaving the show was the best thing he ever did, because it allowed him to find his own voice and build a career that was truly his. Her comments were a huge validation of his decision and confirmed that his gamble, in her eyes, had paid off. A move that seemed to be an act of professional self-harm was, in fact, a brilliant strategic maneuver that paved the way for his true success. Benson walked away from the biggest platform in television, and in doing so, he showed the world that he was a different kind of artist, one who was willing to bet on himself and his creative vision. With the spotlight of American Idol now in his rearview mirror, Benson Boone was an artist without a platform. He had taken a huge risk, but what he was about to do next proved that the future of music wasn't just on television, but on a much smaller screen. The TikTok takeover. Walking away from American Idol was a massive gamble, and with no TV show and no major label to back him, he had to figure out a new way forward. Instead of chasing the usual music industry path, he took a different route, and it worked. He leaned all the way into social media, using TikTok and Instagram not just to post updates, but to share his music, his personality, and his process. Those platforms became his stage, his studio, and his way of building a real connection with fans. This was a deliberate choice and a decision to build his career from the ground up. His strategy was simple, and he only needed to be authentic, be consistent, and show off the personality that the TV show had only hinted at. It wasn't just about singing anymore. He needed to build a personal brand and a genuine community of followers who believed in him. Benson became a natural on TikTok. He not only posted clean, studio-quality videos, he engaged in the trends and would post snippets of himself singing covers of popular songs. He filmed casually in his car or at home. He also began sharing small bits of his original music, testing out new ideas with his rapidly growing audience. While he was building this online empire, a pivotal moment was about to happen. Dan Reynolds, the lead singer of the wildly successful band Imagine Dragons, stumbled upon Benson's music. Reynolds wasn't looking for new talent on television. He was scrolling through his social media feed when he came across one of Benson's videos on Instagram. The moment he heard Benson's voice and lyrics, he was hooked. Dan Reynolds had worked with many artists before, but there was something different about Benson. He saw real potential in him and reached out personally. The conversation was the start of something big that would change everything. Reynolds went from being a famous fan to becoming his mentor and a big part of Benson's journey. This connection was a turning point that gave Benson the opportunity to have and experience the kind of industry guidance and creative partnership that an artist truly needs to succeed. This mentorship quickly led to a record deal. Reynolds, convinced of Benson's potential, made a move no one saw coming. Not long after they connected, Dan Reynolds took things a step further and signed him to his own label, Night Street Records, on October 15, 2021. Just like that, Benson went from posting videos at home to landing a real shot in the music. This was a crucial step because it was a deal that Benson had earned from putting in the time and hard work. The deal gave him the backing of an established label and a famous mentor. But it also gave him the one thing he had fought for: creative freedom. This was the direct result of his unconventional strategy and his decision to walk away from American Idol. He had bet on himself, and it was paying off in a way no one could have predicted. And as you'd expect, the biggest moment of his career was just around the corner. His rise to stardom. After securing his record deal with Night Street Records, Benson Boone was finally ready to share his own music with the world. He released his official single, Ghost Town, on the same day. After the song was released, it became an immediate international hit, charting in multiple countries. It shot straight to #1 in Norway and landed in the top 20 in Sweden. This was a huge achievement for any artist's debut single, but for someone who had just walked away from a national TV show, it was an incredible and unexpected victory. This was the first major piece of evidence that his risky decision had paid off. From there, Benson wasn't in a rush to release an album. Instead, Benson took his time finding his sound, sharing pieces of it through a few EPs while staying connected with his fans. Then, in 2022, he dropped his debut EP, Walk Me Home, and that's when everything started to click. One song in particular, In the Stars, struck a chord. It showed a depth to his songwriting that went beyond a single viral moment. A year later, in 2023, Benson followed up with his second EP, Pulse. Each of these releases felt like a step forward and a chance to explore his sound, and to also figure out who he was as an artist in real time. Everything Benson had been building toward came together with one song, Beautiful Things. When it dropped in January 2024, it blew up way more than he'd expected. It started quietly, gaining traction on TikTok through raw clips, real reactions, and fans sharing how deeply it hit them. Before long, it was everywhere. The song was touching to fans who connected to the lyrics, so they used it to make videos on TikTok. And because it felt so personal to so many, the song didn't just go viral, but skyrocketed up the charts. It shot to the top of the charts in multiple countries and peaked at an incredible #3 just after 2 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. According to the singer, the song was inspired by his first relationship, where he felt like he lost control of what had happened in the relationship. Losing control meant he always knew he would be the one to end the relationship. What was inspired by his emotional roller coaster would become a global hit, placing him as a top international superstar. While it was undeniable that this particular song made waves, the success of Beautiful Things wasn't just measured in streams and chart positions. It also led to some of the most prestigious achievements in the music industry. The song's undeniable popularity earned him a nomination for Best New Artist at the 2025 Grammy Awards, a massive award for an upcoming artist. He also won Song of the Year at the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards and took home Song of the Year for Beautiful Things at the 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards. The success of Beautiful Things took Benson to places most artists only dream of. Suddenly, he was performing on some of the biggest stages in the world. He also sang live on shows like The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and The Late Late Show with James Corden, sharing his music with millions of people. With a massive hit under his belt, Benson was finally ready to release his first full-length album. In April 2024, he dropped Fireworks and Rollerblades. The album featured Beautiful Things, along with a full track list that showed off his unique sound. 1 month after the album dropped, he was named one of the opening acts for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concerts at London's Wembley Stadium, a massive honor that put him on one of the biggest stages in the world. He then performed at the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards in September, where he took home the award for Best Alternative Video, a huge win from a major awards show. He kicked off a headlining tour later that same month at Colorado's iconic Red Rocks Amphitheater, a dream venue for any artist. The momentum continued with a set at the 2024 Austin City Limits Music Festival, where he performed on both October 5th and October 12th at Zilker Park in Texas. As his career kept rising, so did his sound. On June 20th, 2025, he gave fans a deeper look into who he was becoming with his second album, American Heart. Before the full album dropped, songs like Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else and Mystical Magical gave listeners a taste of what was coming. The release of the album was immediately followed by the announcement of his first official tour, which is the American Heart World Tour, set to be held on August 22, 2025 in St. Paul, Minnesota. It will stop in other major cities across North America, including New York, Los Angeles, and Toronto, before closing out in Salt Lake City on October 8, 2025. With a Grammy nomination, a successful world tour, and a new album, Benson Boone had not just found success, he had completely redefined what success looks like for an artist currently. Benson Boone, today. At this point, no one can question Benson Booby's place in the music industry today. As a certified superstar with billions of streams across his catalog and millions of followers across his social media platforms, he's done so well for himself. Not only that, but his songs have earned him significant recognition, as well as other nominations we foresee for the future. Beyond music, his influence is seen in his brand partnerships. He has been named a global ambassador for a major fashion brand like Hollister Co. and one of America's leading cookie brands, Crumble Cookies. Also, in June 2025, he was also named as the global ambassador for JBL. These commercial successes and more bring to light how highly he is loved, as well as his connection with fans on a global scale. His career is no longer defined by just music, but by his long string of achievements. With all these accomplishments, it'll be unsafe to not acknowledge his impressive artistic standing. His high-profile performance at Coachella 2025, that included where he was joined on stage by special guest appearance, rock legend Brian May of Queen, will always be one of the top highlights of his career. Apart from that, he has also been the talk of the media, as there have been rumors circulating that he's in the process of collaborating with several A-list pop singers. And we're here for it all. In such a short time, it's clear that he's gotten to a stage where he's no longer defined by his appearance on a singing show, and is now respected by his peers in the music industry. And the best thing is he's only just getting started, as the career he built entirely on his own terms now yields results and speaks for itself. Benson Boone is a songwriter and performer with a distinct identity and an undeniable place in music. The 18-year-old kid who walked away from the American Idol fame has found an even bigger, more authentic platform. Plus, he has become a force in the music world, and he is here to stay. What do you think about Benson Boone's decision to walk away from American Idol? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. To see more of your favorite celebrities on our channel, click on the next video on your screen to watch more videos like this one.